Okay, we're going.
It's time now for the Pig and the Hen.
Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show.
It's time now for the Pig and the Hen Show.
Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show.
It's time now for the Pig and the Hen.
Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show.
It's time now for the Pig and the Hen Show.
Pig and the Hen Show. Pig and the Hen Show.
Boom Chanka, how's it going everybody? It's the Flying Pig here on Flying Pig United for the Pig and the Hen Show, joined by the Hen. How's it going, Henry? All right, mate?
The one and only. I'm very well. Do you know what? Earlier in the day, I was thinking, fuck, I've got Pig and the Hen later. Am I in the mood for it? And then, do you know what? It gets to 10 minutes just before the show, and I think to myself, I'm actually well up for it. I'm buzzing, mate. And it just goes to show, I think it comes down to the fact that we have a select following out there that you know, I need to make sure that I'm making the effort. They make the effort. I should be making the effort. So should you, Pig.
I should be, mate. Well, we haven't missed a show yet, have we, since we started doing this?
We haven't.
Again,
We've been doing okay.
I mean, I'm not really going to be here too much in mind today. I'm here in body, but I'm not in mind because I feel like absolute freaking Gashly clunge right now, mate. I do. Just
the globalists have got to you, haven't they?
Well, yeah, that's right. And also I've just got toothache, like my neck, all the way down. My neck's freaking killing me, mate. I've got a cold chest. I just feel like shit.
Oh, boo-hoo.
It's basically it, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Really not.
Send
really
the
not
tears
feeling well
in. Send the tears into the show.
Also, I didn't get a happy birthday message from one of my best friends, Henry, yesterday, so that upset me as well.
Oh, shit. Fuck. No wonder you're so hacked off, mate. No wonder you're ill, mate. I mean, if I was you, that would make me ill, actually, if I didn't get a happy birthday message from you, you know, the Hen, mate. You know, no wonder you've been so down, mate. And it's all my fault. I'm sorry.
You are a disgrace, actually, Hen, for not wishing me a happy birthday, mate. But I'll let you off because you probably got the dates wrong because you're in China, right? Right?
I'm genuinely sorry, mate. We'll talk about this after the show, mate. I apologise.
No, the only reason I mentioned is that I can just see a super chat here from Gungshi who comments, "Happy birthday yesterday to the young pig." Thank you very much, Gungshi. Much appreciated, mate. Nice. Somebody cares, eh?
That's what you said. Gungshi knew it. I forgot. How did Gungshi already know the date, did he?
Gungshi knew the date. I put it on Twitter and I made a YouTube video yesterday where I said it's my birthday also. So nice to know you're keeping up on the content on the channel, mate. Oh, crikey. But no, good to see you, mate. Thanks for joining me today. Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit better than I was about 5 minutes ago now the show's actually started. So, of course, it's a big weekend of football, as it always is in the Premier League. And it was another weekend for both of our teams, Hen, where... Oh, it's a little bit shit,
wasn't it? Where do you want to start, mate? I mean, well, I'm more happy with Tottenham. Of course I am, you know. United are shit, though. Basically... Spurs are underperforming now, and Manchester United are kind of doing what everybody expected, aren't they? Apart from you kind of avid fans that have kind of got those rose-tinted Fergie signed glasses or some shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's not been a good start from us, has it? I mean, just to lose to Crystal Palace alone, the game away at Wolves I can live with, but to lose to Crystal Palace, man, I mean, that's shocking. And then the draw at Southampton. We've had a shit start, mate. We've looked shit. We are shit. But what I would say is if those penalties go in the Wolves game and the Crystal Palace game, you know, it could have had a different complexion, but it didn't. This isn't the what if, what could have happened league. This is the Premier League, and unfortunately the results are the results. I mean... Yeah, shit start from United. I did a full watch-along live stream for the Arsenal versus Spurs game, the North London derby. Great game of football, that one, man. It really was. Did you watch? Did you have a chance to catch up on it? I know it was a bit too late when you were on, you know,
I was half sleeping, half listening to it on the radio, and then obviously, you know, watched the extended highlights the next day. I mean, obviously it was particularly late, so, you know, I was kind of struggling to follow it.
Spurs were shite, mate. They were pretty shite, mate.
Shite, mate. They weren't shite at all, mate. It was a game of two halves. You know, we dominated it. You know, the early sections. We showed up Arsenal's frailties, absolutely. But But at the same time, we weren't perfect, and we let it slip in the second half. I think there's a lot of there has been question marks. We've spoken about on the show already about Christian Eriksen, whether he was going to stay, whether he was going to leave. It looks like it. Well, we know that now that he's here to stay. So I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, it is a good thing. I mean, what would you get for him if he was leaving? Because he's not going to be worth what he would have been worth. He's got a couple of years on his contract.
Not.
So
well, no,
he's going to run that down. He'll be leaving.
1 year left. 1 year
it makes
left,
a lot of sense from Pochettino's point of view. I think that's quite a good move from Spurs. It's not like you see clubs all the time when players' contracts are coming down that they try and cash in. But actually, Christian Eriksen at Spurs until the end of the season, that's worth more than the little bit of money you would probably get back. Do you know what I mean?
He will leave on the free next season, if he still wants to go. But, you never know. He might have a change of heart. He might decide to sign a new contract. Unlikely. But it is what it is. You tell me a football club that doesn't have issues with certain players. It is what it is. We've got him for the season. For me, Christian Eriksen has always been a professional. He's not one of these that's going to do. I'm trying to think of a fucking player right now off the top of my head. You give me a player that's been like a Carlos Tevez or something.
Carlos Tevez, yeah. That's the one who came into my mind, mate, yeah.
There we go. Tevez. He's not going to do a Tevez, is he? Do you know what I mean? He's a stand-up professional, Christian Eriksen, and it's a pleasure to continue to have him at Tottenham Hotspur.
Fair play, yeah. I mean, he'll probably go over to Spain, won't he? But this year he'll come in very, very handy. Definitely think it's the right decision keeping hold of him just for the year because he is a professional. He's going to play his hardest regardless anyway. So
I don't think it was much of a decision though. I think Levy would have let him go if there was a solid bid that came in. I don't think any actual solid offer materialised. That's the reason that we've got him.
Well, what would you value him at the moment with less than a year on his contract left? I mean, you couldn't really get more than 20 or 30 million for him, and in which case it may be worth just keeping him at the club and contributing goals and that sort of thing, because he is a quality player.
It's very
not
difficult
a lot of money.
to
You
say.
might as well keep him. Yeah,
very
you might as well
difficult
keep
to
him.
say, but at his age, he's still a coup for any club. And if someone, I would have said a little bit higher than that, 35 mil minimum. Levy would have probably gone at 30, 35 mil, I'd imagine. But we're just talking Codshite now because we've got him.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Spurs' first half performance, you're pretty decent. I mean, Arsenal made defensive errors, which is sort of what Spurs capitalised on, but they still had to cut them open. I thought Son Heung-min, he's just basically the best player in the league, isn't he? He's so bloody good, that man. Just the way he works, the effort he puts in, the impact he has. He's just quality, man. That's the one player from Spurs I'd love to take at Manchester United more than anybody else. I thought he was brilliant. Spurs were good first half, but then second half performance, it was like night and day, man. Arsenal just completely battered them in the second half. Like complete domination. Should have gone on to win the game, but didn't. Another resilient Spurs performance, I'd say, where they've managed to hang on for a point. And Arsenal, though, really impressed me. Really looked good. Controlled the middle of the park, which is something I didn't really expect to see against Spurs with all the talented midfielders they got, and just took the game to you, mate. I know it's a North London derby, form goes out the window, and
Very
also
true.
they're at the Emirates, so they do have a slight advantage. But I was just impressed with Arsenal more than anything, man. I mean, Spurs didn't play bad. You were 2-0 up at going in just before half time. But that's it. That was the key moment of the game. The sloppy defending to give the ball away to allow Lacazette in to score. That's what's lost you the 3 points in that game. Just that key moment, because it gave Arsenal, the kick up the arse, the belief that maybe they could snatch something from that game. That's probably why you saw such a good second half performance from them. If that goal doesn't come in, then Spurs maybe add to their tally.
I mean, let's not forget that Arsenal have spent shitloads of money in the transfer window. I mean, they probably had the second best transfer window after us, and our transfers haven't even really featured. We got Dembele still yet to feature. He's still trying to get over an injury, I believe. Lo Celso, I think Pochettino's been reluctant to get him involved early on. Obviously, we've got a lot of players in that midfield position. You look at Arsenal, is it Nicolas Pepe? What was it, 70-something million or whatever? He starts. He's up there with Lacazette. He's up there with Aubameyang. I mean, you're talking about top players. The sort of players that United would chop off their fucking dick and balls for. At this stage, even at this stage,
Well,
of
maybe
the
just
season,
one. Let's not get carried away. Maybe one of them. You need the other one.
as in one of the tripod, like one ball
One of the
or
bollocks.
one of your penises. You know what I mean? Like literally.
No, you could live with just one testicle. Do you know what I mean? But chop off the cock and balls. I mean, that's a bit much, mate. Crikey. Yeah, no, fair enough. I mean, you know, our Spurs, they're going to be up there. But I mean, it's funny because I know you probably want to talk about Manchester United's bit of a poor start to a season, but it's kind of funny
you're
because
avoiding
Spurs,
it.
Well, Spurs are on the same amount of points, and I know you had the North London derby, and I know you had that game away from City. So fixtures-wise, it's much harder than Manchester United's fixtures, where we've bottled it against Palace and Southampton. But at the same time, you're still only on the same points as us, mate, aren't you? You're on 5 points.
It, mate. You said it, mate. You're
It's
doing well in the
strike,
journalist department, mate. In the journalist department, you're doing well because you kind of just like pigeonholed it. You painted it in a better light for Manchester United. But let's look at the facts. We drew against Manchester City at the Etihad. We drew against Arsenal at the Emirates. So it's 2 games away to top 6 teams where we've drawn. Okay, I'm not saying that's amazing, but at the same time, it's nothing that you can't turn around and say Tottenham are absolutely bottling it.
No, you're right. Not in those games. Not in those games. But what about the Newcastle game, buddy?
We lost against Newcastle United 1-0. Yes, at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. These things happen, though. These games like that, and at the time I said an anomaly of a game. I don't think I used those words, but words to better effect. That is what I was trying to say. That can happen to any team. Steve Bruce, he knows what he's doing. He is a good manager. He's dug in. He's got the goal, and he's dug in, and he's blunted our offence in that game. Simple as that. Manchester United against Crystal Palace, against Southampton.
I wouldn't even say that, though,
you can't even compare those games to the Newcastle game. It's just completely different. You actually scored against both teams. You're actually having open games where you're basically being outplayed. Manchester United have been outplayed twice.
I don't know about that, mate. I don't know. I mean, if you're talking about being outplayed and not having the desire and the hunger, you need to rewatch that Newcastle United game, mate, because you're second to everything in that game. It was a poor display from your lads. Sorry, I know it's a poor display against Palace
not
too.
At all, mate.
But hold on a second, though.
Back to the walls jobby for Newcastle United.
Palace and Southampton, we could have easily won those games, mate. We were unlucky. Look, we didn't have the best display of creative football in them, but in fact of actually creating chances wasn't necessarily a problem in those games. It was just capping them off. Like Rashford seemed to shrivel up in that last game. I don't know why. He had service. He had all the service in the world. He could have stuck a few of those chances away. He didn't. That's basically the problem. That's what cost us our toothless finishing up top there. It wasn't necessarily the fact we couldn't cut them open or create chances. Just we couldn't put it in the back of the net. That is a running theme that Manchester United have at the moment. And I think Martial maybe can be the man to do that. But that game has just further convinced me that Rashford is not an out-and-out striker, mate. He's never going to be that.
I don't think it's just that your passing was off. I mean, there were several issues. De Gea's not looking right. Your whole team's just isn't looking right, mate. And you can't say that about Tottenham. So you can't sit there and say, yeah, we both have the same problems.
Well, I could say some things about Tottenham, buddy. Could say some things about Tottenham, like defensively you're having a mare. Well, defensively you're having a mare. The last couple of games you've leaked goals, you've given away silly errors which have led to goals. That's worrying. For a team that was in the Champions League final. I mean, you were in the Champions League final at the end of the day, and you're on the same points as Man United after 4 games. So
we leaked goals against top teams.
I wouldn't blow your horn too much, buddy.
We've let in goals against top sides.
You know how lucky you were in that City game, though?
Yeah, but that's nah, mate. Not it's City
Saved
are on
by the
absolute
VAR,
fire.
weren't you, buddy?
City are on fire. City are another level. For us to get a draw against them is a success. How dare
It's a lucky success, mate.
Dare you?
It's like the winning lottery ticket happened to be in Pochettino's jeans after it's been in the wash. That's what it was, mate. No, fair play. I mean, look, you have had a harder start to the season. I can't say anything. But the fact of the matter is, just analyse the facts. Yes, we've still got to play Arsenal away. Yes, we've still got to play City. And you'll probably favour, Southampton and Crystal Palace better than we did. But you still lost to Newcastle. Newcastle haven't had a good start to the season. That's a worry. Now, United, on the other hand, we've had a complete nightmare. It has to be said. We've started the season poorly. we're not playing creatively enough. The midfield's looking poor, but also just in terms of making stuff happen, it's really not going too well. Are you still there, Hen? Oh, no. Are you still there, buddy? See, this is what happens sometimes on the Pig and the Hen show, you see. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. But Henry Hotspur is obviously in China. He's outside roaming the streets of Guangzhou. And, sometimes he's got a little bit of a mobile data issue. So let's hope that he comes back and joins us very, very quickly. Otherwise, this is going to be a pretty short Pig and the Hen show indeed, isn't it? Let's just get into some of your comments and hope that this writes itself properly. Thank you to everybody who's taken the time to join in. And Henry, you still there, mate? Can you still all hear me? For Pete's sake. If you guys can still hear me, let me know, because there is an issue when when Henry's connection goes, that my microphone. So we've got a comment from Felix Big Blue Rabbit, who comments, so funny, constantly hear that Spurs are better than United. Been said for years now. What have they won? Nothing. Fair play, Phyllis. I mean, I think that's a very good point. I mean, they haven't won anything. Oh, Henry's back. Nice
right,
to
Phyllis,
see you back,
Phyllis,
mate.
do you know what I want to say to Phyllis?
Go on.
I was going to ask Phyllis, mate, who have you got in your Champions League group this year? What teams have you been drawn with? Go on, tell us. Can you hear that? Can you hear that? Can you hear?
Tell us, Phyllis.
Can you hear that disgusting silence? Yeah, you can. Because I don't even need to tell you, do I?
Go on, tell us.
No, I'm not going to tell you. You know.
Mate, I don't know, mate. I have purposefully not followed the Champions League because we're not in it. I don't give a shit.
That's what I mean.
Okay?
That's a question I was asking. What teams have Manchester United been drawn with for the Champions League this season?
Oh, Manchester United. I thought you said Man City.
No, I said United.
Oh, okay, my bad. Yeah, well, okay, mate. Fair enough. We're not in the Champions League. Good one.
So, yeah.
Phyllis was
Phyllis.
a Man City supporter. That's what confused me. He's a Man City supporter. That's where the confusion's come in, mate.
Oh, is he? Oh, he's a City fan, is he? Well, I can't say shit, can I? Fair play to you, Phyllis, mate. Sorry, mate. You're actually all right, aren't you?
You properly confused me there. But yeah, I mean, yeah, we're in the Europa League, Hen. You know that, mate. Yeah, we're some considerable distance off. Yeah, we've got these blood-sucking leeches as owners that are not fully invested back into the club. Yeah, we've got half a shit team, half a shite skeleton squad. That's just the way it is at United at the moment, mate. We still love United. We're still hopefully going to be up there or thereabouts come the end of the season. Though probably not, mate. Like, we've got, in my opinion, Manchester United have got the 6th best team in the league. So why should we finish any higher than 6th? We don't have a better team than Everton or Wolves, in my opinion, which is crazy. So maybe we could even finish lower than 6th.
Wow! Did you just say that? Did you just say that? Did you just say that?
It's
right,
a bold statement,
okay,
mate.
just listen to this segment
Look
of the
at the
Pig and the Head
midfield,
show.
look at the depth.
Anyone
Where
that's
is it?
listening to this right now, just
think they'll
rewind,
agree.
just rewind a minute and re-listen to that. Flying
Yeah.
Peppa Pig United has just come
there's no
out
need
and
for that,
said,
is there?
has just come out. Well, that's what it is these days. You know, with statements like that. You are saying United
Oh, I
are
mean,
on the
we're
same
not
level
better than Wolves or Everton.
as Wolves
We're not. So
and
I
Everton.
just say it how it is,
What do you mean
mate.
Wolves? Wolves have drawn 3 games and lost 1. Do you know what
Doesn't
Wolves
matter.
are
I'm
doing
talking about
shit,
their team
mate.
and their squad, mate. They're a good team. I mean, okay, you obviously didn't watch the Everton versus Wolves game because Wolves play really well. Everton are just a good team.
But
and
you've got better
So-
players than Wolves, for sure.
Yeah.
You
some better
should have
players
a
than
better
Wolves.
team than Wolves all day long.
So how come we didn't beat Wolves though? How come Wolves made us look bang average, especially
Because
in that
Wolves
second half and dominated us?
Wolves have a better team ethic. They have things in place. They understand who they are. Manchester United have been struggling to do that for year upon year upon year. And that's the issue.
Well, they've still got a few great players that would pop into United's team, I think, right now. That's
Who?
where we,
Who?
especially in midfield.
Go on. Who?
Well, who's the lad who scored the goal? Was it
Neves?
Gomez? Nuno? Neves, that's it.
Nah,
mate, he's
mate,
a decent player, mate. What a bit of technique that was.
Well, actually,
what about Jota?
now you
Jota's
say-
a
now
decent
you
player.
Say it, though. I know. I mean, Pogba and McTominay just haven't been cutting the mustard at all. So no, you
That's
say
what I'm
it,
talking
mate.
about. Like on paper, look, if we're playing the game on paper, United do have a top 4 squad. because we've got Martial. By the way, Martial's injured, and it's a big if whether he'll score the 20-plus goals that we need from him from striker. We've got Pogba, World Cup winner, absolute hero at Juventus, but he's not effective for United like a United legend should be, or like a United player in the centre of the park should be. I mean, defensively we've improved, right? That's where most of our money went into. We're very happy with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. We're happy with Harry Maguire. But Victor Lindelof in the last 2 games has made what I can only describe as 2 absolute calamitous schoolboy errors to concede 2 goals which have effectively dropped us a lot of points. So, I don't think he's any better. He's not a better defender than any of Wolves players, I wouldn't say, because those are very, very schoolboy errors to make. Luke Shaw's taken an injury. Guess who's coming in? 34-year-old Gashley Clunge. Is he a better option than what Wolves or... I just don't think United have got... If we're being real, look, we've got some good players. I think Rashford on his day is a good player, but he's just not ready yet. He's a young lad. He's still learning. He's not that young, though. He's going to have to step up. We do have some really good players. Who else have we got? Maguire. He's shown what a good player he's been for England and for Leicester over the last couple of seasons, but he's still a new signing coming in. United, unfortunately, I'm keeping it real here, Hen. We've got the 6th best team in the league, mate, in terms of actual depth. Because if you take the key players out, like Martial and Pogba and Maguire, take them out, and crikey, Maliki, we have got some problems. We don't really have the depth to come in. So maybe starting 11-wise, if everyone was fit, you could say we've got a bit of a better team, maybe the 5th best team in the league. But as soon as a few injury problems come in, or you take into consideration the whole squad, then United are very weak. That's just how it is, mate. Hate to say it. Like you're having a go at me for saying it. I don't like to say it, mate. It disgusts me that we're in this situation. But
when you put it like that, mate. I mean, it makes me difficult to banter you. It makes it difficult for me to take the piss when you are just admitting that you're shit.
I know, and we're still on the same points as Spurs. Do you know what I mean?
Wow, I mean that's nothing to be proud of, honestly. You can't look at 4 games into the season. Is that what we're on, and judge it like that? You can't.
No, I hear you, mate. I hear you. I mean, we've both got our problems at the start of the season. Manchester United have got much bigger problems than Spurs, though. Spurs have the squad. They've got the depth. It's like I was looking at your squad against Arsenal. Even in the second half when you were getting run over, I was thinking, do you know what? Like, Harry Winks, he'd be pretty freaking good coming into a United side right now. But... but so will all of Spurs' players. If you look at all the midfield, every midfielder that Spurs have, whether it be Lo Celso or Ericsson or who else is there?
You'd even take Wanyama, wouldn't you?
Wanyama, even. That goes to show you how shit Manchester United are. We'd take bloody Wanyama at the club right now because he gives us a better option than what we've got in another area.
Trying to sell Wanyama to Club Bruges. That's a team, innit? And Wanyama decided, nah, he'd rather stay at Spurs even if he's like 7th choice. So that's the sort of issues we got at Tottenham at the moment.
Mate, that's it. That's it, though. You've got too many players in that area, and we haven't got enough. Like, Wanyama's not even getting in the team. Eric Dyer, is he playing at the moment? I don't know.
He's not. I think he's still recovering from some sort of injury or other. But
okay, yeah. But all of those players would make it into Manchester United's squad at the moment. They really would, and that is pitiful to say. It always used to be the opposite way round. United used to have the best midfield in the league, but that's the one area where are really lacking. Because it's all well and good people say about Paul Pogba being this great world-class player, but I don't see it week to week. I mean, if you look at the performance in the last game, it was bang bloody average. And above that, the thing that annoys me the most is there's a couple of instances in the game, and you'll miss it if you're not looking for it. And I actually saw someone's breakdown analysis of this after the game, which is the only reason I really know about it. But it's that Pogba... There's a couple of occasions during that game where he could easily just have a bit of a sprint and try and close down the opposition player when he's in a really good area to try and intercept. And he just doesn't. He just dawdles and jogs like he's either too tired or he cannot be asked. And that's completely wrong. Every single United player should be running their legs into the ground, mate. And Paul Pogba's not that type of player for us. I just think he's a little bit too lazy. Maybe he does have his
big problem.
His heart out of the door already.
I wanted to just quickly mention Lukaku, right? He's on fire for Inter at the moment. He's scored in his debut. He scored the other day. He's been subject to racial abuse, but he's still fucking being phenomenal over there. And do you know what? I'm starting to question things. I'm thinking at Everton, he got the service, a decent Everton side at the time, and he looked fantastic. At United, do you know what? I think you can't. A lot of people blame Lukaku, but it kind of comes down to the fact that he just never really had the service properly. He never had that team understanding. He's gone to Inter and he's setting the world alight again. And he's a fantastic striker. And you just let go of someone. And it comes down to the fact that you just couldn't get a team around that sort of player at all. You failed. You failed to integrate a top-class striker into Manchester United. That's what's happened.
Possibly. I mean, if you look at how people want to play, though, Jose obviously brought Lukaku in. So Jose wants to play with that big physical player up top. He loves physical players throughout the side. If Jose had it his way, you'd have 11 Nemanja Matićs out there. That's what Jose Mourinho would do. He likes a big, tall, physical team. So fair enough, but it didn't work out even when we were really trying to do that while Jose was there for Lukaku. He did score some goals, though, and he actually started his United career really well. But it's not the United way traditionally. Certainly since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's been in the mix in the Sir Alex days and all that sort of thing. We don't play like that. So why would we try and play, even though he is a quality player in that sort of a role? Why would we try and put round pegs in square holes, if you like, or and try and accommodate him, try and change the whole way the team plays just because we've got a good striker? He's not one of the best strikers in the world, though. He's a very good striker. That's why he's worth £80 million, whatever it is. But that's what I think is the reason Manchester United let him go, because we're trying to go about it a different way now.
Maybe this is where you're going wrong, because literally 5 minutes ago you were talking about the fact that Manchester United are basically level pegging with people like Wolves and Everton these days, right? And Everton, who used to be at Everton? Was it not Romelu himself who they did actually think, right, let's actually get behind this guy and do well with him? And that's what happened. Maybe the problem at Manchester United these days is he's still trying to play the old Fergie way and push forward in that respect. And maybe actually it's time to think, well, that's just not going to work for you when you do not have the best squad in the league. We've
only played a few games, mate, this season. Give us a break, okay? We need a bit more time. Martial's out injured. He's a key player for us up top there. He's actually been really good with his movement, his runs, his hold-up play. He's a very good player up top for us, a striker for us, I think. And I think when he comes back into the side, you're going to see some more teeth from Manchester United in that area. Sure, Lukaku. I think if you put Lukaku in that game against Southampton and gave him the exact same service that Rashford have, he'd have got a brace. He'd have scored 2 goals.
Where's Alexis Sanchez just gone to?
He's gone to Inter as well, hasn't he? So he's joined.
Has he really?
Right.
Well, I'm very interested to see how them two do there. I mean, if Inter just absolutely, if they're challenging Juventus or something and they're right up there, then you've got to ask questions. You've got to ask questions at Manchester United. The fact that you've had people like Alexis Sanchez, Lukaku, and yes, I know on the show we have derided especially Sanchez many times, and for good reason. But why are these players? Why are these top players not working out? Why are these top players that you no longer have are now no longer at Manchester United? I mean, it's concerning, mate. You've lost your best piece in the pod, mate. You have.
Yeah, I mean, Jose Mourinho's signings, though, this is what I would say. Like, it's not necessarily the way forward for Manchester United to keep these players around. They're on too much money, and they're not putting into the side. Like, if you look at actually Alexis Sanchez's stats. Now, I read an article yesterday. Sanchez was basically saying that he liked his time at United, and he probably would have been a success if he'd have been given the game time. And I know he was in and out of the side, but he still played like 45 times for Manchester United and started 31 times since joining in January 2018. He's playing in a forward position. Do you know how many goals he scored in that time?
Tell me.
5 in 45. That's 1 in 9, right? For a top player, a top forward featuring in a top side like Manchester United, that is absolutely piss poor. Romelu Lukaku, obviously 1 in 2. That's much less than his strike rate at Everton. And if you go back to Sanchez's days at Arsenal, he was getting 1 in 2. So, okay, fair enough, Sanchez, but you've got to actually do it, mate. You were given some games. You were given time. Maybe not as much as some of the other players, but it was based on form, pal. That's what I think. It's based on form. How can you keep selecting a player that's not doing the business out there? Now, you can say, he maybe didn't fit in at United. It was a change and a transition from Arsenal coming to a different team. He's got to settle in, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. Mate, I think you'll see at Inter, he'll bang in the goals. He'll do the job. You know why? Serie A's just not as competitive, mate. It's not as good. He'll get more time on the ball. He's a quality player. And maybe just mentally wasn't at home at Manchester United. Sounds crazy taking 400k a week out of the club, but maybe he just wasn't mentally at the races for Manchester United. He's just taking the money. He's getting that money regardless. The team's struggling. Does he really want to step up to the mantle and be that that talisman or one of those talisman for us when he can just be a passenger? I think we all know the answer to that. And although he seems like a nice bloke, I think he has just trapped Manchester United pretty badly there, because if he was a fighter, then he'd have given Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a reason to break him back into this side. If he was a fighter, he'd be going to Wally, he'd be saying, look, I want to play, I'm desperate to play, I'm going to bang in 30 goals a season for you, Wally. And maybe we'd have kept him. But no, we decided that based on his performances, based on his attitude, based on what he puts into the team, his influence in the dressing room, all that sort of stuff, that we're better off actually paying him to play for someone else. So it's all. I agree, though. I think he'll do well over there. I think Lukaku banging loads of goals over there. He's a quality player. He's a big physical player. But
I still think Lukaku's a far greater loss for Manchester United than Alexis Sanchez. I feel like
I agree.
You did let Lukaku go when you maybe didn't need to, considering you didn't get Dybala in, you didn't get someone else in. I know I was getting all excited earlier in the season where, your first game you're doing well, Rashford's banged the penalty in, Martial's got a goal. But yeah, I mean it's worrying you don't have the backup. It's the same for Tottenham though. End of the day, we've got Kane. If Kane's injured, and Kane hasn't even looked top notch this season either. So, we've got our concerns as well. Talking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, there has been talks of him having a proper rant at the Manchester United players after that Southampton game, after the dreadful result that you guys had at the weekend. And I just want to hear your thoughts on that, and then I'll give you my thoughts.
Sorry, mate. What my thoughts on what? My missus just came into the room and it completely took me off the train of thought that I wasn't listening to anything you said. Sorry, what did you say?
Wow. Okay. You've got your priorities right there, Pig. Do you know what I mean? The woman takes the priority.
No,
always.
I'm not a woman, so I can't multitask. So what were you saying anyway?
So, rumour has it that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, considering we were just talking about him, had an absolute rant at the players, a good dressing down after that travesty of a game against Southampton at the weekend. And I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
Where is this being reported, though, mate? Do you know what I mean? Like,
this has
I haven't
been
actually heard much about this.
Been in the newspapers. Apparently, this has been reported in the newspapers.
If it is true, then it's nothing out of the ordinary, is it? The manager should be giving him a dressing down and a slagging off after a shite performance like that. All credit to Ollie. Absolutely, stick a Roy Keane headbutt on, at the same time, if you ask me. Too soft. The game's gone soft, man. Overpaid prima donnas at United. Give them a freaking scream in the face. That's what they need, these losers. They're not out there playing for United properly. Crikey. I'd have given Paul Pogba a stone cold stunner after the last game, mate, if I was in there.
I guess the question is, do you believe that Solskjaer has the ability to actually instill fear into the players, which I think is sometimes necessary at the top level?
Sometimes, but it's not all the time, is it? I mean, who's Pochettino intimidating? Let's be honest now. Come on. I mean, it's just about really management, different styles of management. Yes, Alex Ferguson was the most successful manager in Manchester United's history, and that's his style. He was a disciplinarian. He did drive fear into the team, and that's great. That worked for Alex Ferguson. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, although that I'm sure there's times where it calls for that, like after the Southampton game, I don't think he needs to make that a big part of his managerial, his managerial arsenal, if you like.
Really?
Yeah,
really?
I mean, I don't look. I want him to tell the players off when they do, but it's a different day and age, mate. I mean, you can't even really go and scream in teenagers' faces and stuff like that anymore in modern football. It's a shame, mate. It's changed. The game's changed. But look, if he has done that, I think that's right. It's justified. He should do that because the team needed a bloody scream in their face. Absolutely, after that.
Yeah, but for me, it's not so much the teenagers that need to be screamed. The teenagers are actually doing okay for you at Manchester United.
Well, he's not playing them at the moment, so he's just not playing the teenagers.
Well, this is what I mean.
I want to see
this
him
is
play
what
them.
I mean. I mean, you've still got Mike Phelan as assistant manager, have you not?
Yeah.
And I can imagine him with Fergie back in the day. You've got Fergie, Sir Alex Ferguson, as the all-time leader, the person you listen to. You're not going to fuck with that guy. He's the man. And then you got Mike Phelan there. brilliant person, brilliant mind. You know, he's done so much, but he's probably your mate in that situation where Sir Alex is fucked off with you, and then Mike's saying, "Don't worry, mate. Don't worry. You'll be all right. You know what Sir Alex is like. Just
Good cop, bad cop.
Just exactly. But with Solskjaer, it's like, have you got Smeagol or have you got Gollum? Do you know what I mean? Fair enough. If you've just lost against Southampton, you're in that dressing room, and Ollie comes out and he's full on all Gollumed up. Do you know what I mean? Makeup on and everything. He shaved his head. He is proper, all about the precious, running around, scaring the shit out of them. That might work. But if he's just going to be that fucking absolute Barry Smeagol that thinks that the world's fine, and he still hasn't actually come to that point in his life where he needs to actually drown someone to get something, that's what we need from Ollie. We need someone that is willing to drown his brother to achieve something in his life. I mean, is that not what happened?
Fair play, mate. Well, I want him to man up. He does. That's the thing with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He does seem like such a nice guy. Like, you don't really you think, oh, if it come out in the news that he did give them a dressing down after the game, it's like, what sort of dressing down has he given them? You've been a very naughty boy. Do you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
What sort of dressing down has he given them? But no, in all fairness, like, I think he can. I think he can do that, mate. I mean, there's a time and a place. I think we've got Michael Carrick for that, mate. Michael Carrick comes across as this real genial, nice
Carrick.
man. Guess what? He's actually a skull crusher, mate. He's an enforcer. That's the only thing he's doing at United.
Do you know what? I still have Michael Carrick playing for you, to be honest, mate. At this rate, I'd have him. I'd have him still. Even Ollie could probably come on and do a better job half the time, mate.
Mate, I don't see how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would have done worse in that Southampton game than Rashford. He'd have probably taken his chance better. Put it that way, he's still got the mind to get in the right position. That's what we should do. Forget these players we've got right now. Just register Mike Phelan, register Michael Carrick, and register Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Try and get Scholesy out, and let's play some bloody football, eh?
Well, this is it. Why not?
That's the sad truth of that thing that you just said, though, Henry, is it's actually true. Like, Michael Carrick only retired a couple of years ago. He's not going to be doing any worse, I don't think, than Pogba. If you get his fitness up to standard, he's probably not going to be doing any worse right now. That's the sad thing about Manchester United. We haven't come along over the last couple of seasons in that particular area of the pitch. Yes, defensively, we've improved, you can argue, significantly with Wan-Bissaka and Maguire coming in the window. But midfield-wise, what have we actually done? Do you know what pisses me off? I'm just going to get on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for a second, actually, Hen, because you've made me think, like, he keeps persisting with Pogba and McTominay, and that's 2 or 3 games in a row now. They've been absolutely bang-average shite. Now, I can understand keeping selecting them, and people like Jesse Lingard if they're playing well, but they're not. We've got people like Fred, we signed for 50 million a couple of seasons ago, last year or the season before. Why hasn't he featured at all this season? He's still a player in this squad. He's one of the most experienced senior players in the midfield there. I mean, we still don't know whether Fred is a good player or not, really, for United, because he hasn't really played that much. So I don't see why Solskjaer's not been a bit more ruthless in dropping some of these bigger names or changing things around. There's no way he should be bringing on Matic and Lingard off the substitute bench in that game to try and make something happen. It doesn't make sense. There's younger players, there's hungrier players, there's probably better players that are waiting in the wings to come in there and take the position of a McTominay or take the position of a Lingard or even a Pogba. And look, I think Pogba should probably be playing at the moment just in a more advanced role. I do. But I think the role that he's playing right now for Manchester United, he's just not good enough at. He's too lazy. He doesn't harry and work like a terrier. He is no Roy Keane. What he is best at, I think, is creating. You saw that in the Chelsea game. He put in 2 world-class assists. Well, put him in a more advanced role, take that defensive responsibility away from him and allow him to just be a full-on creator then and play Fred or even Garner or both in behind. Forget Matic, forget McTominay at the moment. I just don't think they're doing well enough. They're not good enough. I would give it to somebody else who we haven't seen. That's what annoys me about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's too rigid. He's not ruthless enough. I always thought he was going to be that progressive manager that's going to give youth a chance. He's been blowing smoke up Mason Greenwood's arse for the last 2 months. How many times has that guy played? Few minutes at the end of games.
The trouble is with Greenwood is, I mean, you've got better players than Greenwood playing in those positions. He's already playing Daniel James, we'll speak about him momentarily.
He's a striker,
but that's the problem.
Greenwood, That's what I'm saying. Like, Martial was injured in the last game. So instead of playing Rashford out wide like he's played all season, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer put Rashford inside in the striker position to fill in for Martial, and then he played Pereira out wide. That's really negative, mate. Like, you've got Greenwood, you've been saying, he might start against Chelsea because he's been so good in pre-season, and this 17-year-old lad could be the next bloody Michael Owen or whatever they're saying. And yet, when an opportunity arises, which is quite ironic because that's how Marcus Rashford got into the team when there was injury problems and we had to play him, and he came in and instantly did well, and that's why there is a Marcus Rashford these days. He doesn't give the opportunity to Greenwood. He's given it to somebody else. He put Rashford inside, which only goes to show you the lack of faith that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has in his own squad.
But what's your problem with Pereira?
Well, there's no problem with Pereira. I mean, he had a poor performance. I don't think he's been doing well recently, but he could have done well. I'd rather Pereira play than somebody like Sanchez, say, if we'd have kept him, or somebody who's just, at least he's a younger player who should be hungrier. But the point I'm making is, he's now trying to put round pegs in square holes again. He said to Rashford, look, you're playing out wide. Rashford's really good with the trickery and creating and stuff like that. He is. He's just not a natural born centre forward, if you like. You can see that with some of the balls that come into the box that have been fizzed across the 6-yard box. And if it was a Ruud van Nistelrooy or even a Lukaku, they would have managed to get something on the end of it just because of their instinct and the movement and things like that. Rashford doesn't necessarily have that. He can beat a man, he can get a ball in, he can have a pop, and he can score goals. But he's never going to be that 30-goal-a-year man, I don't think, playing at a striker.
Yeah, but Jermaine Defoe wasn't that kind of Ruud van Nistelrooy kind of player.
What? Of course he was. He was a natural-born finisher, Jermaine Defoe. You taking an absolute piss.
No, but what I mean, when you're talking about running in and
we wasn't as good as Ruud van Nistelrooy because nobody is.
I'm not talking about making
not many people are.
Being that physical presence. Defoe always struggled, in that respect, but he made up for it in his other strengths.
Just because he was tiny doesn't mean, okay, he didn't have that physical prowess, but in terms of actually running in, nipping in behind defences, judging the ball, and it's not just about making runs as well, it's also about intelligence of play and finding the space and staying in the space and waiting for the ball. Jermaine Defoe's as good as anybody at that, in my opinion. So, I mean, fair enough. I mean, he's not as good as Ruud van Nistelrooy at it, but if we had a Jermaine Defoe up there in that game during his peak years of his career, he would have banged in a couple of goals.
The point I'm trying to make is what you're saying is Rashford is never going to be a Jermaine Defoe. Is that what you're admitting here on the show?
Well, I was
right
saying
now?
He's never going to be a Ruud van Nistelrooy. I mean, Jermaine Defoe is another player you could use, yeah. But
as an example,
he's probably not. Yeah? No, he's not going to be that goal scorer anyway. Okay. Is what I'm saying. He's more of a creator.
That's a concern. That's a concern because I thought Rashford could be the next big thing. But you're sat there and you're telling me now that he's never going to be a Jermaine Defoe, let alone a Ruud van Nistelrooy. He's not going to be that
striker point of view. No, I don't think so. I think his strengths lie in beating a man, whipping a ball in, cutting inside, having a shot from a wide position. That's what I think his strengths are. That's just my opinion. Somebody else may think I'm talking absolute cod because he has played at striker in the past. A lot of people have said that's his best position over the years.
You know more.
He does score goals, but he's not clinical enough.
You know more about Manchester United than I do. And in my mind, I always thought Rashford was the striker. I always thought that him being pushed out to a wide position was a mistake for Rashford. And now you're sat there and you're telling me that actually, that's not his strongest position playing up front.
I don't think it is. I think he's better in it from a wide position from what I've seen. If you look at some of the performances he put in just this season already in the wide areas, he's actually done okay. When he's looked poor is when he just was put up at striker and he's lacking that movement, he's lacking that killer instinct. Now, it's only one game, fair enough. But we have seen it over the years. He's never scored a significant amount of goals in one season for us, and he's played at striker a lot over the years. He's just not really a natural striker, I don't think, in terms of movement, in terms of finishing and stuff like that. And you can coach him, you can teach him better, but I'd rather we just stuck somebody there, maybe like a Greenwood, who perhaps does have that natural ability there. It's like, okay, he's only 17, but what would you rather right now, for instance? Would you rather have underperforming Rashford, or would you rather have a 17-year-old Michael Owen in there, or would you rather have a 17-year-old Wayne Rooney up there? Those guys have got the natural ability. They've got the finishing instinct. They've got the movement. They've already got that stuff, even at that young age. I'm not saying Greenwood's going to be as good as those, but we won't bloody know until he actually plays and we see. That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
It was a bottle job move from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. That's all I'm saying. Like, he could have easily, he had the opportunity there. Martial's out. He's got the opportunity to stick Greenwood in there and see what he can do. But instead of that, he shuffles the pack. And that's just wrong. I'm just saying, like, he needs to be more ruthless. He needs to give these chances to young players. Don't just select players based on experience and reputation and what they did 2 years ago. And that's what he did the other day. He brought Matic and Lingard off of the bench as well. Where's the progression in that? Where's the giving opportunities to the young guys? No, we're just going to play the same bag of shite that we know doesn't work. Is that it, Ollie? That's what really annoyed me about the game, and about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's management, the in-game management as well. But I don't want to get on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as a manager. I just think that now is the time, Ollie. Fair enough, you were trying some things. You can see that these players who we've got who are experienced are not up to the job, because in the entire time that you've been here, basically, they haven't done it for you. So now's the time to stop selecting them. Now's the time to give the opportunities to Garner and Chong and Angel Gomez and Greenwood. Those 4 players in particular. Nobody else, everybody else needs to step up and prove themselves before they're given an opportunity. But with this United side struggling the way it is, the lack of hunger and motivation we're showing out there on the pitch sometimes from certain players, now is the time to give those players a chance. That's what I'm saying. Like, give the youth a chance, Ollie. Now's the time. You've got nothing to lose.
Well, I mean, it's difficult. It's difficult for me. I mean, would you say Martial is an out-and-out striker, though? I mean, you basically don't have an out-and-out striker.
Yes, you make a very good point, mate. Martial probably is not an out-and-out striker, but he does possess better natural ability in terms of movement, in terms of running the channels, in terms of getting in behind, and in terms of finishing, probably better than Marcus Rashford naturally. It's easy to say that. Let's see what he can do, but he has looked pretty decent up top there at striker. Even like holding the ball up and things like that, which you wouldn't necessarily think he'd be any good at because he's not the biggest physical player. He's done pretty good. So I think Martial's better suited to being that striker than Rashford. But funnily enough, 2 years ago, I'd have probably said the other way round. So like that's probably why you've got that opinion of Rashford, that he's more of a striker, because that's where his favoured position was supposed to be when he was a young lad, and he did come in and he did score goals, but just not enough, mate. That's the problem. But it's a great debate, though, isn't it? I mean, only time will tell whether these players will work out, because he could easily drop, or he could put Rashford out wide and he could put Greenwood up top there, and then Greenwood has an absolute stinker of a performance, and then all of a sudden we're criticising him for something different. So it's easy to say all this stuff with hindsight, but the point I'm making, it's just I can't see it being any worse given the young players, the young talented players that we've got, an opportunity. How's it going to be any worse?
Okay, well, I hear what you're saying. Greenwood hasn't had a chance, and you're obviously you obviously want to see Greenwood in action. I'm just going to talk about Daniel James again. I mean, of course, it's easy to highlight him because he scored again, and I could be accused of just looking at highlights and thinking, well, he scored a goal, so he's something special. But yeah, fuck that. I highlighted this guy's ability and his insightfulness, the previous Pig and the Hen show. I was talking about how he's a fucking special tent peg in a team of tent pegs that are not holding that fucking tent down at all. And I've got an image in my mind now. He's literally he's not just a special tent peg. He's actually a solid peg. It's just about keeping that tent pinned down at times.
That's it, and we've got Aaron Wan-Bissaka as basically like a full-on anchor, mate. Without those two, we'd be blown away, wouldn't we?
Literally, from what I saw of the game against Southampton, James was fantastic. He's a young player, and he's playing. He reminds me. Do you know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of. It's not even a player that plays in a similar position, but he reminds me of a Harry Winks. Okay, different role, different sort of player, but he's got the same. But he's got the same kind of mindset where he's just on it. He's not being a dickhead. He's not being a drama queen. He's not going in with the silly tackles. He's got a football brain. He plays a little bit further up. He's a young player. He keeps his head down and he just gets on with it. And those are the sort of players that we need to be looking at. I mean, I take it Daniel James is English. I haven't even looked into his nationality, but I take it he is.
I think he's Welsh, actually, mate.
Oh, is he actually? Okay.
Let me just check, but yeah. No, I think you're right, Henry. Like he's one of the shining lights of our season so far. Like him and Wan-Bissaka and Maguire to a lesser extent, but certainly Daniel James. I mean, he scored 3 goals in the Premier League for us so far. He cost us 15 million coming up from the Championship. Not a lot of money. In fact, it's chump change in today's day and age, isn't it?
Of course it is.
15 million.
It's a great signing. It is.
Yeah. And he's looked like one of the players that can definitely do it for us, and I'm really excited because we've got this lad. He's so. I'm pretty sure he's Welsh. Anyway, we got this winger, this flying winger from Wales.
Let us know in the comments. I'm sure our listeners will know.
Yeah,
the
he's
nationality
Welsh.
of this
Welsh.
lad.
Thank you, Griffo Chaz. Yeah, he's Welsh. So we've got this flying winger. It's almost reminiscent of getting a Giggsy in the side, isn't it? Now, I know Giggsy was younger when he broke through and he had way more raw natural talent, and there's never going to be another Giggsy. But Daniel James, 21 years of age, to come in there and have the start that he's had, it fills me with a bit of hope that maybe, just maybe, we have got ourselves a little gem here. And it's early days, and it could have all gone right, and form's only temporary and all that sort of stuff. But if you look at the way he can beat a man, if you look at his raw pace, and it's just disgusting the level of pace that he's got out there when he knocks it past a defender and runs past him with such ease. It's like watching Gareth Bale, back in the day when he was just knocking it past defenders. And I know he's not as big or as physical, but he's just so rapid, and that's always.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't disagree with it. You've got to look at his finishing, though. His finishing is second to none. It's absolutely flying into the top corner, no fucking around, just spot on. And that is special, mate. You've got a special young player. He's got a big future. And hopefully Ollie's going to keep playing him.
Yeah, it surprised me the most because I thought, we'll get this flying winger who could just knock a ball in, whip a ball in. And that'll be great. Beat the defender, whip a ball in. But no, he's actually got all the facets of the game where he can take it inside. And if you look at the finishing that he has done, like you say, I mean, the first goal against Chelsea was a bit fortunate, but the other 2 goals, they're right out of the top drawer. And if it was Messi or Ronaldo scoring those goals, it wouldn't look out of place. It'd still be a great goal from them. So yeah, fully with you. I think his finishing ability is great. He looks like a really good player, 21 years of age. But the problem with United is, like, I don't want to get us to the point where we're putting all this expectation and pressure on a 21-year-old lad who's come up from the Championship for 15 mil. It's wrong. It should be the more experienced players that we're looking to make stuff happen. But it is amazing that he's come in there and done such a great job. If you want to say anything else about Dan James, or can I get on to Aaron Wan-Bissaka?
Well, I was just going to talk about Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He's injured. He's not been selected by Southgate. Well, I don't think he's available to be selected for the Nations Cup, or I don't know what's going
European
on international right now. But there's something coming up, but he can't participate, unfortunately. But another bright young star for England potentially.
Yeah, I think maybe that's just a little bit of mind games from United right now. We've just said to Aaron Wan-Bissaka, look, because it happens in the past. Fergie always used to do stuff like this as well. Like, they've taken a convenient knock. Do you know what I mean? Like, right. Look, I know Aaron Wan-Bissaka, if he's going to play, he will want to play for England, absolutely. He's played himself into that, so I don't think that has happened. But I'm happy that he wouldn't be playing, because I don't want our United players to play for England right now in case they do get an injury, because we've got such a skeleton squad. Imagine if Aaron Wan-Bissaka was out for 6 months now. Oh my God, what a nightmare that would be for Manchester United. What would we do? Talking about the one man in defence there that nobody has passed at all this season, that hasn't put a foot wrong, that's literally solidified our defence tenfold. And if you got rid of him, well, not tenfold because we're still conceding goals, but a little bit. And if we lost him to injury, or lost Harry Maguire to injury, there's a couple of key players in particular, Martial being one of them, that if it happened for an extended period of time, we're screwed, mate. So, yeah, but I just want to say special shout out to Aaron Wan-Bissaka, because he's come in there, 21, £50 million, huge money, a lot of expectation based on the transfer fee and based on the season he had at Palace. But my oh my, what a player. He literally looks like the best defender or the best right back in the league already. You can call me on that if you think I'm wrong. Maybe Liverpool fans are going to say their players, but I think if you look at the stats as well, who's put in the most tackles so far in the Premier League out of any player?
Sure. Well, I'll tell you what. He's certainly one player from United that would get slot straight into Tottenham Hotspur right now, straight in, because we're struggling in that position. We've obviously we sold Trippier. obviously we sold.
been having a dig
Carl
in the
Walker
media as
years
well,
ago.
hasn't he?
Yeah, of course he has. You know, we've had Walker, Carl Walker Peters, decent player, but he's young. He's not tried and tested. He's picked up a little injury. We've got Serge Aurier, which is a bit of a liability. I don't think he's fit to play at the moment either. Juan Foyth is injured as well. I don't particularly fancy him in the right back position. We actually played Davinson Sanchez at right back against Arsenal, and that was our. If you watch that game, that was the player that completely looked out of place for me. For me, Davinson Sanchez is the centre back all day long. He doesn't look right at right back at all. And, we're really struggling in that position. So you're lucky that you actually have someone of Wan-Bissaka's calibre. Because he's
quite a fun
a decent
game,
player.
actually, Hen. Like, who gets into Spurs' squad from United's team? Like, I can think of maybe 2. I think maybe Maguire does.
Wan-Bissaka gets in. Okay?
Yeah.
Does Maguire get in? Maybe. I mean, that's a tricky one. It's difficult. That's kind of like a toss of a coin, depending on what sort of manager you are.
Fair.
But certainly Wan-Bissaka. And other than that, well, on current form, Daniel James. Literally. Instead of someone like Eric Lamela, you might stick James in.
But you wouldn't have Pogba right now, would you?
No.
No, he's going to have a mare in Spurs' midfield.
Exactly, and that's
Maybe
it.
not.
Yeah. I mean, we're not even going to have a debate about anyone else. For me, it's Wan-Bissaka and James, the players that we've been speaking about. That is
De Gea,
it.
Actually, De Gea's better than Lloris.
Nah, fuck off. No, De Gea's been having an absolute mare.
Oh,
this
come
season.
on, one near post error and he's a shit keeper,
mate,
is he? Come on.
I'm not saying he's
quality.
a shit keeper, but it's not for the
last
first
7 or 8
time.
years.
It's not for the first time. De Gea has not looked like a world-class keeper for a good 6 months now. And, please argue me on that point because, I've seen United. I've watched games. Obviously, I haven't watched every game, but I do watch a serious amount of United games purely for the fact that I do the Pick of the Hen show. And this is a United channel, and I feel like I need to see how United are getting on. And for me, De Gea is nowhere near Hugo Lloris at the moment in terms of consistency. Nowhere near.
Well, look, if you're talking about the last 6 months' form, then De Gea's put in some good performances, but he's also put in some very ropey ones and made significant errors. More so
Lloris's
probably in the last 6 months than the 6 years before.
Hand, mate. One hand.
I mean, watching the game yesterday, or was it the day before, when in the North London derby, I must say I thought Lloris performed really, really well. Some of the saves he made was fantastic.
Sure.
Yeah, he almost gave an error away at one point, but it didn't lead to a goal, and he just put in a general all-round great shot-stopping performance.
Lloris is a World Cup winning, top-class goalkeeper, without a shadow of a doubt. I wouldn't want any other keeper than Hugo Lloris right now in the world.
Fair enough. I mean, there's not much improving you can do from him, is there? He's one of the top keepers in the world, to be fair, but David De Gea, if you take over, just look at the last 5 years, okay, and form is temporary, class is permanent, that old adage they always say, and I think it's true, is that just look over the last 5 years, he's been the best goalkeeper in the Premier League by a country mile. The last 6 months, absolutely not. If you were judging De Gea's goalkeeping prowess on the last 6 months, you'd have to say he's just a good goalie. Great shot stopper, but he's got errors in him. Bit of a David James. Do you know what I mean? So that's poor.
I don't think you could blame De Gea though. This is what's funny. I think the trouble is, the rot spreads. Like if you got like the best apple in the world, but a part of it's rotting, you just think, fuck it, I'll just leave it on the shelf for a bit more. It'll turn nice again. No, it fucking won't. The whole apple will get fucking rotten and maggot infested. And that is, I'm not saying that's Manchester United right now, but I'll tell you what, I saw a maggot hanging out of fucking De Gea's ear the other day, mate. That is what we're talking about.
He's festering, mate. That's not good. Fair enough. I mean, I see what you're saying. There is a bit of a question mark hanging over De Gea's future. He's one of the players that I think his contract's running out within the next year, and Manchester United haven't reached an agreement with him for a new contract. So maybe that's got something to do with it. Like if David De Gea in the back of his mind doesn't want to be at United any longer, then is he really truly performing to 100% of his standard? I don't know. Mate, that would be, you'd have to measure the character of the man in order to know that. Because some players, they're going to fight for you until the very last day that they're here, and other players, they just put it in cruise control. which is you're sort of seeing that from Pogba as well at the moment, I think. But David De Gea, I think he's the best goalkeeper United have had since Edwin van der Sar. He's a fantastic keeper. I'd like to see him stay at the club, but I want the right David De Gea. I don't necessarily want this one that's got all these question marks, that's got his head turned a little bit, his mentality's in question. He needs to be bang on form and bang up to the task, especially if he's going to be given £375,000 a week.
Do you know what this is?
Which is what he's wanting. It's, the highest paid goalkeeper in the world.
This is your starstruck United kind of mirage that all you and many a Manchester United fan, it's a disease that you're all suffering from, that you think, yeah, let Lukaku go, let Sanchez go, yeah, fuck it, let's get rid of De Gea, let's get rid of Pogba.
When did I say that? I didn't say get rid of David De Gea.
Well, it's kind of, well, you kind of.
No, I was saying basically what if you didn't interrupt me, I was going to say that we should make him the highest paid goalkeeper in the world, because I think he is the best goalkeeper in the world. Now, form is temporary, class is permanent. He's not been good recently, but maybe it's because of all this contract stuff hanging over his head. The reason why he's not 100% comfortable right now, and he shouldn't be making silly schoolboy errors like getting scored on at the near post and things like that. He did the other day, but he's still quality. I would sign him up now for the next 6 years if I could. He's 28. He's in the best years of his career. If you base it on what he's done over the last decade and how much he's improved from coming to United to where he is now, he's one of the best goalkeepers in the world. So we'd be foolish not to do our best to keep hold of him. One odd performance here. Look, goalkeepers are scrutinised more than any other position because their errors directly lead to goals. Right? It's highlighted. It is evident. That happens all the time. But we've got to be real. David De Gea is not the problem in this Manchester United side at all. If his defence did the job, if Lindelof, cleared that ball away, or if Pogba didn't give the ball away in the last game to initially allow the phase of attack, then the chance doesn't come. And yeah, he should be doing better with the chance, but the goalkeeper's the last line of defence anyway. And as far as the last line of defence goes, David De Gea is world class. So United should try and do everything we can to get hold of him. But yeah, you can say that if you like, and to a degree it's true. We did want Sanchez out, we did want Lukaku out, but I definitely don't want De Gea out, mate. That's just my opinion. He's a great keeper. That would be like saying when we had Peter Schmeichel, that would be like saying, oh, if we had this shite defence in front of him because he's conceding goals, because the defence is getting scored on and run over and all that sort of stuff, or they're not clearing the set pieces away properly and the ball's going in the back of the net, that's somehow Peter Schmeichel's fault. Now, he made errors here and there, granted a lot less than the average goalkeeper because he was basically the best goalie ever. But it still happens. They're not what's the word, infallible, where they are human beings. They will make errors, and I just think De Gea is the best that we could get right now in that position.
Fair enough, mate. Well, I've got to be honest with you. You're starting to bore me with this United bullshit, mate. Do you know what I mean? I try my best to talk Manchester United for a good length of time, but you know what? Is there any what we need to do? And I'll say again, and I'm going to keep saying it, show upon show until it's done, is we need people calling in. I don't want to talk to you, pig, continuously on the show. I want to talk to people out there. Like,
do you know what's going to be funny? Technology-wise, the way I can do it is people calling in to me, because we've had this debate last time about you not being able to hear them and them not being able to hear you. So we are going to do a call-in, but it's just going to be the pig.
Well, that would be shit, wouldn't it?
I'm joking.
We've got to work it out. We have to work it out so that we can get to the stage where we've got people calling in and we can talk to these people. That's what I want.
Absolutely,
I'm fighting for that.
Can somebody let me know the best way we could do this? Because there's got to be some intelligent person that's watching this stream. Maybe you can tweet me or DM me or whatever and let me know the best sort of software or the best way to go about it. Because I'm using OBS Studio. We're using Skype. But if people are calling in each time, then I'd have to set up a new camera feed or whatever it is, I think, in order to be able to do that. And just throughout a show, having to do that for every single call, it may cause a whole bunch of issues and delays.
But I'm not
bothered
about the camera feed. We just need audio. We need someone else's voice that we can just interact with. Someone calls up, they got a question or they would.
Yeah, we'll give it a go. I'll tell you what, Hen. We'll give it a go next Wednesday if you're up for it for the last half an hour of the show. So I don't want to start the show with it in case it turns into an absolute horror show.
No. Yeah.
but we'll do it for the last half an hour, and we'll just get audio on, and people can Skype in, and that's how it's going to be. And really, I don't know, because I've got my thing set to only my contacts can call, because otherwise, if everyone's calling through at the same time, it could also be a bloody calamity. Look, we've got some things to work out, but we're going to give it a go anyway. What I do want to get into, we're going to have to keep it a little bit shorter today. But
can we stick to the comments? We must have some nice comments coming through.
That's it. I want to get into your comments, guys. So get your comments and thoughts, and if you want to ask me or Henry anything, or just have your say on anything we've discussed on the weekend's football.
Questions for me. Let's stop the pig talking. Let's have a bit of hen time. Come on.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm reading them out, aren't I? So it's me that decides who gets fucking read out.
All right, Peppa Pig.
Prepare for no questions for Henry. Anyway, no, ask them the questions, and right, here we go. Let's just read the last few comments that have come in here. Steph Harringtonio, how are you doing? Good to see you in here. Comments: the United brand will always be there. They couldn't win a league for 27 years, but were still one of the most commercially viable clubs in the world, along with Barcelona and Real Madrid. What a great point you make there. It's very true. Like, we are still, even now, with the blood-sucking leeches we've got, a much bigger entity, a much bigger commercial entity than Tottenham Hotspur. Than shitty Tottenham Hotspur.
The fact that, I'm really getting off to the fact that we're still bigger than Tottenham. That's just doing me right now. I'm fucking coming. Nice. Fuck you guys.
Right, this is what I'd liken it to, though, Hen. Football cycles, okay? Now, if you're talking about orbits of the moon, right? Okay, this is how long it takes Spurs. It's how long it takes Spurs to orbit the sun, right? You're one of the out wide planets. You're like frickin' Uranus or something, right? You're right smack bang out there, and it takes a very long time for you to get back round to this cycle where you're at the top, where you're feeding that glow from the sun properly, right? Now, United, on the other hand, we're more like Mars, mate. At the moment, we might be a bit fucking arid, but we are on the closest. We're on a smaller cycle around that sun, mate. Now, right down here, we might be down here, and it might be a little bit of a nightmare at the moment, but it's not going to be that long because of the huge club that we are until the cycle has got round to back to being successful. So I agree with you there, Steph. I think United is a huge club, even with shite owners. It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time and investment.
You're not Mars. You're not Mars. You're the fucking asteroid belt. You're like a previous planet that's been smashed into pieces. Nobody even remembers that planet. I mean, it's a conspiracy in itself. You don't even know what the fuck the asteroid belt is. What, was that Manchester United? I don't know, mate.
Yeah, we're like one of the moons of Saturn at the moment, or something. You know, we're like Enceladus right now. No, fair play, mate. I agree with what I said, though. Anyway, Viking Red comments. Hen, sell Kane to us.
Sell Kane? What? As in, like, verbally try to tell you how great Kane is? Don't need to, do I, Can?
I want to read the super chat out. We've missed the super chat here from Alex Rudd. Alex Rudd, you're doing a great job moderating the channel, as always, mate. He comments and says, talk about more conspiracy theories. Oh, fucking hell.
Wow. Anyway, Rudd loves it. Rudd loves it. I mean, but this, are we at the hour and a half mark?
Not yet. We're not at the witching hour yet.
Not yet,
mate,
because
no.
I've been trying to come up with, and please let me know if you've got a better kind of thing. But I think going forward, the Pig and the Hen show should have like the hour and a half, like what was I trying to say? Like 1.5 hour conspiracy powers. Like I've tried to come up with some kind of rhyme that's gonna be like a segment of the show where do you know what, Pig? You could even have like a little button that you could press on your computer screen there, and it comes up with a little fucking song or something, or a little sound effect, just to let everybody know that it is conspiracy time, because I think that has become an ongoing part of the show.
Now for some conspiracy shit.
We can't do that. Just let you know, I'm on less than 10% battery, so I could go any time. I've come slightly unprepared this evening. My battery life is not as good as it would be. Should we get onto the conspiracy? It's not a conspiracy, but it's something I wanted to talk about. Yes, we will,
Alex Rudd, but I do want to just read a couple more comments out before I let Henry unleash on the conspiracy theory stuff. Plus, we've probably got to wrap this up in about 13 minutes' time today. But just read out the super chats that a few people sent. Alex Rudd, I missed one of yours earlier. Comments, Spurs got a little lucky. Thought we had a few mistakes. Spurs got a little lucky that we had a few mistakes. Yeah, Arsenal defensively made some errors in that game. I definitely think though, Alex, like you were in for the ride with me watching the game during the actual broadcast of it, and I must say Arsenal were the better team. They were. Spurs better in the first half marginally, got the 2-0 lead, but just goes to show you the lack of cojones that Spurs have got at the moment to be able to hold on to a lead like that 2-0. I mean, come on. They've had a fat mare. And thank you to Gungshi for wishing me happy birthday again. You absolute top man. Thank you so much. Right, let's just read a few of the other guys' comments out, and then we will get into Henry's conspiracy zone. Dun 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 dun. Do you know what I mean?
Really? Come on, you got to come up with something better than that, mate.
Fair play. Right, comment here from Voodoo Chili, who comments, United are Pluto, not longer classified as a proper club. Well, that's a bit harsh, isn't it, mate? Sort of just elaborating on what Henry said about the smashed up asteroid as well. Comment here from Griffo Chaz. How you doing, mate? Comments, going to start doing podcasts with my mate. Pilot is next Friday on Delayed Kickoff YouTube channel. Oh, interesting. Well, shout out to you then, Griffo Chaz, and you and your mate doing the podcast. Trying to rip us off, are you? No, good luck, mate. I'll try and
another United channel, is it?
I don't know, no, but I'll try and we'll try and tune in. Let's give him another shout out. What's it called here? Delayed Kickoff YouTube channel. Is that the name of it? That's bloody awful.
Oh, mate.
My name and my channel is shite,
Chaz,
isn't
mate?
it? Flying Pig United. What does that even mean? Right, let me explain, anybody who doesn't know the Flying Pig, where the Flying Pig comes from. So this is really awful, actually, because when I was a youth football player, I used to play in goal, and yeah, you know, I've always been a bit of a meaty lad, right? But I was agile, I could get across, I could dive and all that, really, quite well. So I got the nickname the Flying Pig, yeah? From my old soccer coach, or football coach, I should say. And he was actually a Liverpool fan, right? And I didn't know this. I found out, like, after I set this YouTube channel up called Flying Pig, that it's the nickname of an old Liverpool goalkeeper from, like, the 70s. I mean, how fucking much of a disgrace is that? So I'm nicknamed after a bloody Liverpool goalie. I mean, the irony in that is just disgusting.
I mean, I didn't even know this. So this is, this is quite a fucking
but
confession.
It does add up to a shit name for the channel. I mean, one thing I was actually considering doing, and I don't think it would go down very well with some people, but is maybe changing the channel name at some point to something that's maybe a bit more recognisable as a sort of United football.
No, you can't do that. You're the Flying Pig. You know, end of the day, if you're a secret closet Liverpool fan, fuck it. You know?
Fair play. Comment here from Belu Pilam. Comments, Ollie must give Lingard the number 7. That will transform him into prime Zidane. I promise you that. Nice bit of trolling there, Belu. Thanks very much. That's never going to happen. He's about as effective as like one of Zidane's toes out there. TFC, thank you very much. Commented happy birthday. Everybody who sent me tweets, everybody sent me any sort of a message, comments on my previous YouTube video.
Send a cake in.
Thank you so much.
Who cares?
Thank you so much for wishing me a happy birthday.
He's getting older, that's all.
Which is a lot more than one of my oldest friends, Henry Hotspur, did. The inconsiderate bastard.
It's been a long time since we've been real friends, isn't it? We are literally just YouTube colleagues.
We're just podcast acquaintances, mate.
That's it.
Well, that's it. Since you left the country, mate, you don't care anymore. No, fair play. Gungshi for a comment here before you says, Pig, I saw those pig and hen bracelets again the other day. Should have sent you one for your birthday. What do you mean pig and hen bracelets? Have I forgotten something? You've seen bracelets with the pig and the hen on already. Is somebody cashing in on our merch? Right, last few minutes of the show, guys. Get your comments in if you want it to be read out now, and then we're going to unleash Henry on the conspiracy stuff.
Well, if I've still got a battery for it,
Oh, well, you better get on it now. But honestly, thanks to everybody who has sent questions in or comments in throughout this live stream. Do us a favour if you're in here. You know, you could always give these a share on social media or whatever. Try and help us get a little bit more exposure, I guess, in the world. And you can also smash a cheeky little like on this video. People seem to neglect the like. You've got to hit that like button. That shows that you like it. It also improves our ability to be found in the search and things like that on YouTube. So please do smash that like button and comment after this video has been finished if you guys have not not had one of your comments read out during the show. We'll reply to them afterwards like we do. Gungshi says it's a Dutch brand called pig and hen. I saw this the other day, mate, actually. I did see this the other day. Pig and hen, right? That must be new. Because when I used to search pig and hen on Google, it's like we came up first. Now some bloody Dutch fashion house is using our poxy name. I say we sue the shit out of them.
we got to trademark that shit.
Let's just use their logo. Do you know what I mean? Let's just start using their logo, eh?
No, they beat us in court all day long.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, Gunshi, Rudd, and Rincon would have to send in some serious super chats for us to beat them in a lawsuit. Honestly.
No, it's true though. Like I have seen them, Gunshi. Now you mention it, I've seen them, and I'm not happy about it, mate. Cashing in, aren't they? On the huge. Yeah, but
they're not using our logo, are they? They're not using that kind of Leeds failed.
They're using a pig and the hen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, the pig and the hen.
It's not actually
like that.
It's pig and hen. Pig and hen.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. That's not the same. It's not the same. That's fine. I can accept that.
Right then, hen. Would you like to get onto the witching hour now?
Witching hour. Are we? What? Are we? Hour? What? How many minutes?
We've been going for an hour and 15 minutes now. So.
Okay, so we're going to go early, but usually it would be the hour. What was I saying? 1.5 hour pig and the hen conspiracy power.
The last half an hour, yeah.
I can't think of anything better than that. Please let me know if you can come up with a better catchphrase.
Half hour conspiracy shower.
There we go.
Because it's a shower of shit.
Conspiracy shower. Okay, and we need some music for this. Me and the pig will come up with it, or send in your ideas. Okay, this week, unfortunately, I don't actually have a conspiracy for you, but you know I do like to talk about events where I feel that the media, mainstream media, are coming down on people where they shouldn't be. Okay, now, just quickly, I'm going to ask you, Pig, what's your thoughts on Dave Chappelle? Do you know who that person is?
Yeah, he's a hilarious American stand-up comedian, mate.
I think he is too. I think he's brilliant.
It's funny, mate.
Do you know what? I've never even really listened to much Dave Chappelle. I've heard the name. I've heard a lot of good things about him. But actually,
what's going on with Davey Chappelle then, mate? This is the first I've heard.
Well, there are things going on because basically he's just really Netflix have just brought out a Dave Chappelle special called Sticks and Stones, right? Which was literally released August 26th, I believe. So within the last week and a half. And it's a very like a non-PC kind of comedy sketch. Okay, so it's kind of old school. I've listened to a lot of it, and the way he's coming across, it reminds me of a brilliant stand-up comedian that I might have heard when I was a bit younger, maybe 15 years ago. And I watched it, I thought it was brilliant. I had no problem with it. And do you know what? It was
Who was
fresh.
the comedian? You're just going to say that? Who was the comedian?
Dave Chappelle.
Who was the one that he reminded you of? Or you just mean he reminded you of somebody back then when it was not PC, when it was,
exactly. It reminded me of when I was growing up, is what I mean, like in terms of what was acceptable. And I didn't even realise it wasn't acceptable. He was just coming out with these jokes that were absolutely fucking brilliant, spot on. Go out and watch it, guys and girls out there, and judge for yourself. I thought it was brilliant. It's pushing the boundaries. In your heart and soul, when you're listening to it, you think, well, it's a bit obscene, but it's funny. And do you know what? You know that Dave Chappelle, even if he is pushing the boundaries, he's not being a dickhead about it. It's just it's an art. It's comedy. It is what it is. You should be
allowed to talk about whatever you want as a comedian, really. I mean,
there we go.
It actually makes me laugh. Like, just while we're on this, Henry, like, because there's probably some people that I haven't actually seen it, but some people that are not happy with this non-PC stuff that he's doing, right? I mean, I don't actually know. I mean, it's refreshing to me, but I would just tell people to go and look at a Scottish comedian we have over in Britain called Frankie Boyle. That basically, I think Britain is still much further behind, or we're much more open-minded when it comes to talking about certain subjects than Americans are. And I don't want to offend any Americans here, and that's probably a generalization. I know there's a lot of really free-thinking liberal Americans, all that sort of stuff, but they just wouldn't have a comedian like Frankie Boyle in America because all he says is politically incorrect stuff. But carry
Well,
on
no,
with Chappelle
Frankie
anyway.
Boyle is full on and obscene as well, and I think he's got some brilliant material as well. But it's interesting because Frankie Boyle certainly leans on the left side of politics, actually, and Dave Chappelle, well, as of recently, doesn't at all. It's more kind of on the right way of things, and you can see that in the media. It's almost like someone like Frankie Boyle is not bothered at all. Do you know what? You know, Rotten Tomatoes, they've given Dave Chappelle's new special, which has been, a lot of people have come out and said brilliant. Rotten Tomatoes come out and given it a 0.
Really?
A 0. Okay, right? And I used to respect
have
Rotten
you seen
Tomatoes.
it,
I used to. I mean, I've seen the majority of it. Okay, I haven't
And
seen
is
it
it
all.
funny? Yeah, funny.
It's funny as fuck. Okay.
Yeah.
I
So
watched. I watched
they're
the
just bitter.
YouTuber. I watched a YouTuber before coming on night, and he released a video literally 9 hours ago or so. I don't know who he is, and he 200 views or something. You know, nobody big. But he was telling what he was saying was his Twitter account has been suspended. He literally just said on Twitter, hashtag. I'm not a Twitter fan. He said hashtag. I'm the new biggest Dave Chappelle fan. Check out the new special on Netflix. And just Twitter account has been suspended. What the fuck? Okay, Netflix, one of the biggest home entertainment media platforms that everybody enjoys, they're putting it out. So are you not allowed to say on Twitter you like, and you've been kind of fucking
it's just
banned off
gone
fucking
mad, isn't
Twitter?
it?
What the fuck is that about? What the fuck is that about? That is what made me think that is a strong enough case, a strong enough thing that I need to bring up on the Pig and the Hen show for this week's podcast. And that's why this issue has got the slot, because I never heard. Sorry, of course I heard of Dave Chappelle, but I never got into Dave Chappelle before today, because I'd read somewhere that he'd been a little bit politically incorrect, and all the critics were absolutely slating this. And I'm thinking, well, come on, it's just comedy. And
I know.
this is what I do, isn't it? Week on week, I like to bring up these things that I think is what's going wrong in the world. And I know he's making funny, sick jokes about Michael Jackson. He's making sick jokes about trans people, R. Kelly, etc., etc. But if you listen to it, it's funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's
funny.
gone mad though. They
Okay?
should be allowed to talk
And I
about
think
what they want, mate.
and the leftist media have just it's baited. He's baited them.
Are you still there, mate? Henry? Oh, sorry.
I'm here, but my battery might be
Nightmare.
going.
Well, let's just wrap it up quickly then. But I agree, mate. I think it's gone mad the way that everything's so politically correct, and a comedian in particular should be allowed to talk about certain things without really being scrutinized for it, because they're just making light of certain situations. I mean, I could see a bunch of comments coming through here from people who were talking about all these old programs on TV that just wouldn't be made anymore, like Gaz Newton comments, Faulty Towers, Only Fools and Horses, comedies like this wouldn't pass now, but that was real comedy. I completely agree with you. I mean, there was some much worse ones than that as well for like politically incorrect stuff. What was that one where you had the black family move in next door to the white family in England, and then it was just like a complete racial, like it was like racial insults throughout most of the show? I forget the name of it, but that actually was a TV show that was on Britain, a sitcom, and he would just call him like racial slurs and things like that throughout the show. Now, time's moved on, and rightfully so for stuff like that. Don't get me wrong. Boom. Sorry, guys. Something's gone. Hen's gone, so it's ruined the stream. But yeah, we were talking about I'm just going to stay here for 1 minute. Hopefully you can you hear me? Can you hear me? But yeah, it's gone mad. Like, the political correctness has gone absolutely mad. I'm saying, like, certain programs like that, okay, we shouldn't be making light of racism and things like that. I do 100% agree with that. But there's certain topics, certain things that we should just be able to discuss openly. Everyone's gone too bloody soft these days. You know, we're old school, me and the Hen. We're brought up with old school English values. That's not to say we're both very, very tolerant of people and everything. But you can have a laugh, can't you, about certain things. It doesn't mean that you're a bloody fascist or whatever. Anyway, guys, thank you to everybody who's tuned in for the live show today. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? I hope you can. Thanks to everybody tuning in. Smash a like on it before you go. Sorry about Hen's connection screwing up there. But I hope you enjoyed the show today. Just a little casual chat about Spurs United football and, of course, a bit of random stuff at the end here. So everybody keep a lookout next week for the Pig and the Hen show around about 3 p.m. UK time. Do chuck a like on this video before you go. Thanks to everybody for tuning in, commenting, liking, super chat, and all that stuff that you guys do. You're a bunch of legends. This show will be available after the fact as a audio podcast on either SoundCloud or any podcast app that you use. Keep a lookout for it. You can follow it, called The Pig and the Hen Show or The Flying Pig Podcast. Go and find the feed, subscribe, and you can listen to them while you're out jogging and whatever it is that you guys do. But honestly, thanks so much for tuning in. You're a bunch of legends. Have yourselves a good day. Come back next Wednesday for The Pig and the Hen Show. Also, tomorrow, hopefully, on the channel, I've got a cheeky little Fire in My Room episode coming. Now, there's no football game for Manchester United for a while. Got Leicester after the international break, but I'm doing something a little bit different. So keep a lookout for that on the channel tomorrow, guys. I may even premiere it. I've never done a YouTube premiere for a video. I might do it for that one. So I'll let you guys know. Keep a lookout on my Twitter. Follow Henry Hotspur at Henry_Hotspur on Twitter. And you can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Flying Pig HD on Instagram and Facebook as well. But you take it easy. I can see you, Gungshi. I can see Ajax, Mazin. I can see Ilya, United, Steph Harringtonio, Viking Red, Griffo Chaz, all the usual legends, anybody I've not mentioned. Thanks so much for stopping by on this live stream. Good luck, Chaz, as well, with your podcast starting soon. I'll try and catch it if I've got the time. And everybody else here, show him some support. Anyway, guys, see you soon. See you, Gaz Newton. See you, everyone. Take it easy. Gungshi says, one love, one United, one pig. What a hero. There's only one Gungshi. Right, guys, take it easy. You've been watching The Pig and the Hen Show with me, the Flying Pig, and him, Henry Hotspur. He can't do his little buck, so I'll do it for him. And from me, take it easy. See you soon, guys.